Some monsters don't stay dead. Some killers aren't just human. And when you come across something that isn't meant to be, well, you better pray you never get its attention.
Dispatch. We are moving in the trees. I think it's watching me. I lost the others. Jesus Christ! It's out here. It's too fast. I hear it. It's close. I can hear him breathing. Yair! It's too late!
This isn't just another case. This isn't just another monster story. This is something far worse. The last time anyone saw Elias Wren, he was disappearing into the Tennessee woods, leaving behind a trail of blood and bodies. According to the official FBI records, this was the end of the story. But as Rhodes knew all too well since that night, some things don't end that easy. FBI Agent Michael Rhodes should have moved on. With the FBI closing the case, Wren was just another name in a long list of serial killers that vanished without a trace. But Rhodes didn't believe in ghosts. And he knew monsters don't just disappear. Rhodes didn't sleep much after Smoky Point. And when he did, the nightmares always brought him back. Back to the mine. Back to Wren's cabin. Back to the breath of a monster he barely survived.
Every time I close my eyes, I'm back there. That stink, that heat, it never leaves me. The wounds still ache, like they don't want me to forget. And now he's changing. I could see it in the new bodies. He's sloppier, bolder, like he wants me to know. Or worse, like someone's stopping him from hiding.
This wasn't just a hunt anymore. It was personal. And Rhodes was the only one left who believed Elias Wren was still out there. Rhodes had flipped through the crime scene photos, his hands unsteady. This is probably the 10,000th time he'd gone over them. Each time looking for something, anything he could have missed. A pattern, a mistake, a way inside Wren's head. Something that will tell him where he's going next, what he's planning, if he has any plan at all.
You never had a pattern before. You went where you wanted, you took what you needed. But now, you're out in the open killing relentlessly. Why? Why? What are you trying to do?
He continued to flip through the reports. The latest killings were different. The attacks were more brutal, less methodical, almost careless. Wren wasn't just hunting anyone. He was letting himself be seen.
You're getting sloppy. I just don't care anymore. Are you trying to get my attention, Wren? Or is someone else keeping you from staying still?
He pulls out the latest files, an internal report from Washington State. A local sheriff's office flagged a case just days ago. 3 bodies found in a remote area, torn apart, bodies already decayed, but no human explanation. The reports are vague, and the local authorities are brushing it off as wildlife. But Rhodes knows better. He picks up the phone and dials. He'd gotten the number from a contact for the local authorities handling the case.
Sheriff's Department.
Agent Michael Rhodes, FBI. I need some information on a triple homicide case filed 3 nights ago, just outside of Spokane.
Sir, that case is still under local jurisdiction. We don't...
Look, just tell me, was anything left behind?
Sir, look. The bodies weren't just torn up. They were rotting before they even died.
Rhodes doesn't even say goodbye. He just sits with his phone on the bed. He's already stuffing files into his bag, grabbing his gun, and heading for the door. Rhodes had seen a lot of things, a lot of horrors. But this wasn't just Wren killing for the sake of killing. This was something else. And if he was right, he didn't have much time to find out what. Rhodes sits at the bar, watching a man in the corner, nervous, hands shaking around a half-empty glass. His name is Garrett Cole, a hunter, and the last person to see one of the victims alive. He doesn't want to talk, but Rhodes won't leave without answers.
You don't get it, do you? You still talking like it's just some animal. Like it's something you could track.
That's exactly what it is.
That thing did look like no animal I ever seen. Hell no. Look, I don't know what I saw, but I know what it did. It was supposed to be a weekend hunt. Me and 3 buddies. I had to take care of something in town. Told them I'd meet them back at the camp that evening. It was getting dark when I started heading back up the trail. I should have known something was wrong. Could have sworn I heard something. Felt something watching me. But I looked out from my truck and I didn't see a damn thing. So I just kept driving.
Cole's breathing picks up. His eyes flick toward the window, as if expecting something to be looking back at him.
When I got back to camp, they weren't just dead. They were gone.
Rhodes says nothing, just waits for him to continue.
You ever seen what a bear does to a man? What a mountain lion leaves behind? This wasn't that. This was worse. Something had ripped them apart, but the bodies were rotting before they even died. The stink of it. It was like walking into a damn morgue. Except they had been breathing this morning.
He lights a cigarette, hand shaking.
You saw it, didn't you?
No. But it saw me. I ain't going back out there.
Unfortunately, Mr. Cole, you don't have a choice.
Oh yeah? You gonna arrest me? Drag me out there in cuffs? 'Cause that's the only way I'm gonna be stepping foot in those woods again.
Cole wasn't budging, but Rhodes had dealt with men like him before. He didn't need to scare him. He just needed to make him doubt himself.
Do you think running from it is going to make you feel any safer? It knows your name now. You really think it's just going to forget you? Look, I know you don't want to go back out there. But I also know you're not sleeping at night. You're not forgetting what you saw. So tell me, are you going to keep running? Or are you going to help me put this thing in the ground?
Ugh, this is the same. This ain't right.
Maybe. But if we don't stop it, how long before someone else ends up like your friends?
All right. But if we see it, my ass is running. And you're on your own.
Fair enough.
Oh, hell. This ain't normal, is it?
No, but it never was.
The truck rumbles down a dirt road, the headlights cutting through the dense forest. The trees loom high, their skeletal branches reaching like fingers toward the sky. The air is thick, the kind of quiet that makes you feel like you're being watched.
Yeah, look, I still don't know why the hell you're doing this.
Because I have to.
You know that's not an answer. You got a death wish, Agent? Or you just think you're smarter than whatever did this?
Cole wanted answers, but Rhodes wasn't in the business of giving them. Not to men like him. Not to men who wouldn't understand. Cole flicks his eyes towards Rhodes, studying him in the dim glow of the dash.
Oh, wait, you've seen it before, hadn't you? Whatever's out there, you've looked it in the eye. I could tell. You got that same look my buddy had before we found him in pieces.
I've seen lots of things.
Rhodes doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't have to. The truth is, he has seen it. More than once. And it still haunts him. The feeling of Wren's breath on his skin. The way his wound still ached when he thought of that night. Like something inside him hadn't fully healed. Like something was waiting. Cole exhales smoke from a cigarette, watching Rhodes closer.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Just then, something runs across the road. Fast. Cole yanks the wheel instinctively. The truck skids, tires skipping up mud as it slams to a halt inches from a tree.
God damn it, Cole!
Did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
Rhodes doesn't answer right away. His heart is pounding. His hand has instinctively gone to his gun, gripping it so tight his knuckles go white. He forces himself to let go, but Cole sees it. He sees the fear, the slip in Rhodes' control.
You're scared too, huh?
Rhodes wanted to lie, wanted to say he had everything under control. But in that moment, as his pulse slammed against his ribs, he realized the truth.
Just drive.
The truck rolls to a stop on the side of a muddy trail, the headlights illuminating a clearing up ahead. Everything is quiet. Too quiet. Cole grips the steering wheel, his knuckles still white from the near crash. He doesn't move to open the door.
Oh, hell, I shouldn't have come back.
Cole wasn't wrong, but Rhodes had no intention of turning back now.
Well, stay here if you want.
Cole hesitates, then reluctantly follows as Rhodes steps towards the clearing. The air is thick, humid despite the cold. The smell hits first. Rot, but not just decay. Something worse. The kind of stink that clings to the inside of your nose, that makes your stomach twist before your brain can process why.
Jesus, it still smells like this? It's been days.
It wasn't normal. A body should start drying out, decomposing in a different way by now. But this wasn't decomposition. This was something else. They moved deeper into the clearing. Then Rhodes seized them. The bodies were long gone, collected by forensics, tagged and bagged. But something still lingered here. Scraps of torn fabric stuck to the branches. Deep claw marks gouged into tree trunks. The ground, blackened in spots where blood had soaked deep into the dirt, still reeked of something rancid. But the worst part, the smell. The bodies were gone, but the stench of death hadn't left. It clung to the air, heavy and thick, refusing to fade, like death itself had settled here and refused to leave.
This isn't right.
Cole stays back, but Rhodes kneels next to what was once a man, or parts, anyway. The skin was slick, almost gelatinous. The edges of the wounds were wrong. It wasn't just tearing, it was breaking down.
I told you, this ain't just a kill. It's something else. Like it's changing them.
Rhodes had seen Wren's work before. The brutality, the precision. But this wasn't just feeding. This wasn't just a kill. Rhodes' breath catches as he notices something nearby. A symbol carved into the frozen dirt. Deep grooves, the earth beneath blackened, unnatural. And then suddenly Rhodes feels it. A sharp, pulsing pain in his side, right where the wounds from his last fight with Wren were. He grits his teeth, pressing a hand to his side.
God damn it.
Cole notices, watching him struggle for a second before speaking.
You all right, Aid?
It wasn't just pain, it was memory. The nightmares, the feeling of Wren's breath on his skin, the way his body ached when he thought too hard about that night. Like his body knew something his brain refused to accept. And then, a noise in the trees, low, shifting, something moving. Cole jerks his head toward their sound, hands instinctively reaching for the rifle slung over his back.
We shouldn't be here.
Rhodes didn't disagree, but it was too late now. The air shifts, the woods grow quieter, and something breathes. Rhodes stiffens, his breath shallow. The sensation of being watched tightens around him like a vice. The trees stand motionless, yet something is there, waiting.
You feel that?
Yeah.
Cole was a hunter. He knew these woods, and right now, he knew they were prey. Then, movement. A flicker of something in the shadows. Tall, humanoid, but wrong. Rhodes narrows his eyes, straining to see.
That ain't no animal.
The figure remains at a distance, watching, studying. It doesn't move towards them. It just lingers, as if taking note of their presence. It wasn't Wren. It wasn't moving like Wren. It wasn't moving at all.
Don't react. Don't run.
Cole's grip on his rifle tightens. He just breathes heavily, waiting. And then, just as quickly as it appeared, the figure slips back into the darkness,
What the hell was that?
Rhodes didn't have an answer, but the moment it disappeared, something else clicked into place.
You said something earlier about things going off around town, about something changing.
Well, yeah. Yeah, ever since those fellas showed up.
Rhodes narrows his eyes.
What guys?
Suits. Federal types. They don't talk to nobody. Don't ask nobody for permission. They've been written up all the best hunting spots. Hell, it's been hard to even find a place to set up lately.
That got Rhodes' attention. This wasn't just a local case anymore. Something bigger was happening here, and whatever it was, someone was trying to keep it quiet.
We're leaving.
Well, for once, I actually agree with you. Let's get the hell out of here.
For now, they were retreating, but Rhodes had just found a new trail to follow. The truck rumbled along the dark road, neither man speaking at first. The only sound is the gravel crunching underneath the tires and the faint whistle of wind cutting through the trees.
So what the hell's going on around here? What the hell was that? First my friends, now this? I knew coming back out here was a mistake.
You said the suits started showing up a few months ago.
Cole exhaled sharply, shaking his head.
Yeah, I didn't think much of it at first. But they weren't like game wardens or rangers. Wouldn't say who they were with. Just started taking over certain parts of the woods. Like they had some kind of right to it. Private operations, they said.
You got a map? Show me where.
Cole shoots him a wary glance but sighs, reaches into the glove compartment. He pulls out an old hunting map, unfolds it, and hands it over as he keeps driving.
Here. Do you want to see where they've been setting up? Knock yourself out. Whatever you think you're gonna find, man, let me tell you, nothing good comes from poking at things that don't want to be found.
Guess we'll see.
Rhodes knew how government and black ops worked. The best way to get answers wasn't to ask for them. It was to find them yourself. If these guys were who he thought they weren't going to talk. But their footprints, those were harder to hide. As soon as they hit the outskirts of town, Rhodes folded the map, tucked it into his jacket, and grabbed the bag from the floorboard.
You've done enough. Get some rest.
Hell, you're going out there right now, aren't you?
If they're setting up in the woods, they won't be there forever. I don't have time to waste.
If there was one thing Rhodes knew about operations like this, it was that they didn't sit still. If he waited, if he hesitated, they'd be gone before he even knew what they were doing out there, and he needed to see it for himself. Rhodes cut the truck's engine off about a quarter of a mile from the site, stepping out quietly. The wind rustled in the trees, but beyond that, the night was eerily still. He moves low through the underbrush, careful with every step. Up ahead, he sees them, small groups of men in dark tactical gear, setting up stations, checking motion sensors. But something is off. These weren't just some wildlife rangers tracking a predator. The equipment was too high-tech. The setup was too precise. They weren't looking for any animal. They were looking for something specific. And then he saw them. Creatures among the suits. Not human. Not even close. Their forms were twisted, elongated, draped in shadow as if the darkness itself clung to them. Their limbs were too long, their movements too fluid, like living things that had forgotten how to be alive. Their eyes, if you could call them that, gleamed faintly, shifting in color like something reacting to unforeseen frequencies. These weren't men, but these weren't animals either. Rose stays hidden, heart pounding, and then one of them stops. Its head tilts, slowly, unnaturally, and then it turns, and it was looking right at him. Rose grips at the ground, his breath caught in his throat. He's been made. He knows it. But the thing doesn't react. It just stays there, staring, holding its gaze longer than anything human should. And then, just as slowly as it turned, it looked away. It moved on, as if Rhodes was never there. He doesn't stick around. He eases back the way he came, each step careful, deliberate. Whatever the thing was, it knew, and it chose to ignore him. Something wasn't right, and whoever these people were, they weren't the only things out here. Back in town, the bell above the diner door chimes as Rhodes steps in, brushing rain from his coat. The place is mostly empty, just a couple of truckers at the counter, an older couple in the booth, and a waitress refilling coffee. But something felt off. He couldn't place it at first, but the air felt heavier, like the space itself was pressing inward. Rhodes moved to a booth in the corner, scanning the room. The old man at the counter stirs his coffee, but he's not drinking it. The truckers aren't talking. The waitress stands still, frozen, her hand hovering just over a coffee pot mid-pour.
What the hell?
And then, movement, a ripple in the wall. A thing steps through, like it was never fully there to begin with. It's tall, its form stretched and shifting, like the shadows struggling to contain it. Its eyes, or what Rhodes thinks are its eyes, glow dimly, flickering like dying embers. The same thing from the forest. And it wasn't just here. It was rewriting the space around it. Rhodes grips the edge of the table, his fingers inching toward his sidearm. The truckers don't react. The couple doesn't blink. The waitress remains frozen. Then, the door to the diner swings open. A man in a simple, well-pressed suit steps inside, calm and deliberate. He moves towards Rhodes' booth and sits across from him, completely ignoring the creature looming behind him.
You're safe, for now.
For now? What the hell is this?
A precaution. It numbs the mind, shuts down distractions. But you and I? We're having a conversation.
Rhodes forced himself to stay still, to breathe. The thing hadn't moved, hadn't reacted, but its presence alone made his skin crawl.
Who the hell are you?
I think you already know that doesn't matter.
The man adjusts his cuffs, studying Rhodes like a specimen under a microscope. The air in the diner is thick, weighted, as if reality itself had been pressed down.
You've been asking too many questions, Agent Rhodes. And now, you're being watched.
By who? You? Your people?
Your fixation on Wren has made you an interest to us. But you're a minor problem. He's the priority.
Rhodes could feel it. The way this man dodged direct answers. The way he spoke like someone pulling unseen strings. He wasn't here for threats. He was here to redirect.
Then tell me what you want with him.
You already know he's different. Stronger. More resilient. He's adapted to what should have destroyed him. He survived when others of his kind have not. We want to know why.
Rhodes clenches his fist, waiting.
We shot him, you know? A special compound. It worked. Kept him locked in his other form. He hasn't been human in weeks. He's slipping further. More feral. Less reason. Easier to catch. The beast is taking over.
Rhodes keeps his expression neutral, but his stomach tightens. The killings. The mess. It all made sense now.
Why are you telling me this?
Because the balance is shifting. Our group. It's become too powerful. Capturing Wren would tilt the scales too far. There needs to be checks and balances. There always has to be.
The controller reaches into his coat. Rhodes tenses, his fingers inching toward his holster. But the man simply places a small case on the table and slides it forward.
Inside, you'll find something useful. Special rounds. They'll counteract the state lock we placed on him. He'll shift back. He'll be weak. The rest is up to you.
Rhodes exhales slowly, eyeing the case, but not touching it.
And what if I want to know more? About you? About your people?
You don't.
At that moment, the creature in the corner shifts. For the first time, it acknowledges Rhodes. Its unseen eyes bore into him, a silent command rippling through the air. The world collapses in on itself. His vision blurs. His thoughts shatter like glass. The weight of it hits him like a hammer. His mind blanked, his consciousness sinking into static. The last thing he saw was the man watching, impassive, as if he had simply flipped a switch. Rhodes blinks. The air is normal. The weight is gone. The buzz of conversation, the clink of dishes, everything is exactly as it should be. The waitress stands beside his table, pen in hand, tilting her head.
You ready to order, huh?
The couple at the booth were chatting. The truckers were eating. The world moved on like nothing had happened. But Rhodes knew better. His fingers brushed the table, where something cold and metallic sat waiting. The case, right where the man had left it. Rhodes now had more questions than answers, and the only way he was going to find it was to go back to the site that he had just left. The forest is alive with movement, but Rhodes keeps low, slipping through the undergrowth. He's been careful, deliberate, keeping a greater distance this time, knowing what those creatures can do. He doesn't take a direct route. He circles, finds higher ground. From a ridge, he stops, kneels, and raises his binoculars. He needed to see it again. The camp, the men, the way they moved. If they were still here, it meant Wren hadn't struck yet, or worse, that he was watching too. The camp below is smaller than before, now just a recon team. They're stationed near sensor towers, heat scanning devices, and supply crates marked with symbols Rhodes doesn't recognize. A few of the monstrous recon creatures prowl the perimeter, their heads twitching as they scan the darkness. Rhodes steadies his breathing, scanning every detail. These men were supposed to be better, stronger, more prepared than anyone else, and yet, they weren't ready. A shadow moves in the tree line, then again, and then, hell is unleashed. Screams. The first soldier barely has time to react before something massive erupts from the tree line, hitting him like a wrecking ball. His body folds inward, bones snapping like twigs as he is flung into the sensor tower, shattering it on impact. Gunfire erupts, shouting. Men scrambling for their weapons, but they don't get a chance. Wren is faster than them, stronger, a blur of muscle, claw, and teeth, unnatural in how he moves. He doesn't just kill them, he destroys them. One man gets off a shot, but Wren is already on him, claws sinking into his gut and lifting him off the ground like a rag doll. The man convulses, then Wren twists, and his body tears it in half. The sound of it is wet, grotesque. This wasn't just a hunt. It wasn't just survival. This was pure rage. Rhodes lowers his binoculars, jaw tight, breath shallow. He knew Wren was strong, but this was beyond anything he'd seen before. Another soldier tries to run, but he doesn't get far. Wren slams into him, claws ripping through reinforced armor like paper. The man's screams turn into gurgles, and then silence. Rhodes forces himself to keep watching, to take in every brutal detail. Wren isn't just killing, he's unmaking them. A final soldier, now alone, begs. He drops his rifle, hands shaking, whispering something Rhodes can't hear. Wren hesitates. For a second, a split second, there was something else. Something behind the rage. Recognition? Memories? But it didn't last. Wren grips the man's head with both hands and tears it from his shoulders. The body drops, twitching. It was over, but Wren wasn't done. He sniffs the air, slowly, deliberately. Then his head snaps towards Rhodes' direction. Then he speaks, and it's not human. The sound of it hit like a shockwave. It wasn't a name, it was a declaration. Rhodes stays frozen, his instinct screaming at him to move. Wren's breath is heavy, his body twitching as if he's debating whether to chase or wait. But then, gunfire erupts, a backup support team moving in fast. Wren snarls, his head whipping toward them as bullets slice through the trees. Rhodes barely registers the movement. Just a blur of motion as Wren turns and vanishes into the trees, his massive form disappearing into the night. Rhodes doesn't wait. He moves. Fast. Wren knew he was there, and he wouldn't forget. That was the plan. Let him know. Let him come. Rhodes disappears into the dark, his mind racing, his pulse hammering. This was no longer a hunt. It was a war. And Rhodes knew he had to set a final trap. The old logging facility looms ahead. Abandoned. Rusting. High catwalks crisscross above massive water channels leading to the river. The machinery creaks in the wind, forgotten by time. Rhodes moves through the structure with purpose, setting up everything he can. Chains are loosened, walkways are weakened. One misstep, one moment of hesitation, and it all comes down. This wasn't just about fighting Wren. That wasn't possible. This was about surviving him. Rhodes checks his gear, his movements slow, deliberate. He pulls out a rifle, the same one the special rounds were designed for. He'd hunted before, but never like this. He loads a round into the chamber, the metallic click echoing in the empty space. Then, he pulls out his knife, rolling up his sleeve. He takes a slow breath before slicing across his palm. The blood spills freely, dripping onto the wood beneath him. The air shifts instantly. He learned one thing about Wren. He always followed the scent of blood. A snarl cuts through the silence, a crashing in the trees, then nothing. A void of sound, total unnatural stillness. Rhodes grips the railing tight. His heartbeat slow, controlled. He was here. He was watching, choosing his moment. And then, the world exploded. Wren tears into the facility like a storm. His claws rip through steel. His body moves like a cannonball, fast and brutal. He doesn't hesitate. He smashes through every obstacle, every wall between him and Rhodes. Rhodes moves fast, ducking, rolling, keeping distance. He doesn't engage. He guides Wren, leading him deeper into the maze of metal walkways. Wren lunges. Rhodes barely sidesteps. The werewolf slams into a support beam, shaking the structure. A chain snaps free, whiplashing past Rhodes' face. Wren was stronger, faster, more rage than reason. That was Rhodes' advantage. Wren wasn't thinking, but Rhodes was. Finally, Wren corners Rhodes on a high platform. There's nowhere left to run. Wren inhales deeply, savoring the scent of blood. Then he speaks.
I've waited for this, Rhodes.
Rhodes tightens his grip on the rifle. This is it. One shot. Rhodes fires. The special round hits Wren's center mass. For a second, nothing happens. Wren laughs, low, guttural, demonic, a mockery.
That's cute.
And then it hits him, hard. His muscles lock up. His claws spasm, retracting against his will. His ribs cave inward as bones begin shattering, reforming, his body violently rejecting what has been done to it. His howl rips through the night, but it isn't the fury this time. It's agony. Steam rises from his skin as the change has forced itself through him. His limbs seize, his body folding in on itself as if trying to fight back against the shift. His breath hitches, ragged, strained. It is not a natural transformation. It is a violation. His own body turning against him. His knees buckle. The platform beneath him cracks. The structure collapses beneath Wren's weight. His half-shifted body plummets into the rushing river below. Rhodes stares down, rifle still raised, breath shaking. The water rages, debris swirling, no sign of Wren. Rhodes didn't kill him. He didn't even think he weakened him. He just reminded him of who he was. And that might end up being worse. The river roars below, the last place he saw Wren. the last place Wren was supposed to be. Rhodes stood at the edge, staring at the water, his jaw clenched, his hands tightened into fists. Rhodes had won, but it didn't feel like a victory. He failed. Wren wasn't dead, just different now. And Rhodes doesn't know if that makes him more dangerous or not.
God damn it.
Later, in Rhodes' motel room, the dim glow of the bedside lamp flickers against the peeling wallpaper. The air is thick with silence. Then, a vibration. His phone screen lights up. Single message glows across the screen. Rhodes stares at the message. His grip tightens around the phone. Another message lights up the screen. His pulse quickens.
Even they can't find him.
Final message appears on the screen. And then a soft thud at the door. Rhodes tenses. His fingers brush the grip of his pistol. He moves slowly, cautiously, and pulls the door open. The parking lot is empty. No footsteps, no shadows. Just the hum of flickering streetlights. But there, on the ground, is an envelope. Rhodes bends down and picks it up. The paper is thick, too clean, too deliberate. Inside, just one single sheet of paper, one name. Project Enoch. Rhodes came to Washington for one hunt, but now he's part of something bigger, something deeper, something worse. He thought Wren was the monster in the woods, but what happens when the real monsters don't hide? When they walk among us, unseen, pulling the strings? What happens when the hunters become the prey? And what do we do when the monster doesn't die? When the killer escapes the grave and comes back different? We hunt, we watch, and we wait for the next move. But whatever comes next for Rhodes, and others, I'll be ready. And if you want to see what I find, you should be ready too. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because the deeper I go, the darker it gets. And trust me, there's something coming, and you won't want to miss it. And remember, it's true if you believe it.